Welcome to this Dutch daily class about introducing yourself. This class is all about learning how to introduce yourself in Dutch. Since it's probably going to be one of the first things you do when coming to the country, it's important to know how to do it right. That's why our first and most important goal is that you learn how to introduce yourself in Dutch. Besides that, you will learn some common greetings and ways of saying goodbye. And finally, you will learn how to use the verb zijn, which means to be, in the first person singular. Are you ready? Let's get started. Imagine this situation. You're walking down the street in the Netherlands and somebody stops you and asks you this question. Wie ben je? Wie ben je? This is a very common question. Wie ben je means who are you? Now, this is the perfect occasion for you to introduce yourself in Dutch. But knowing how to introduce yourself requires knowing about the verb zijn. And zijn means to be. Since we're going to be speaking about ourselves, we need to know how to say I. For saying I, we use ik. So, I is ik. If we combine the ik with the verb zijn, so in the first person, it becomes ik ben. So, ik ben is I am. And of course, ik ben is a very useful sentence if you want to introduce yourself. So, just as in English, we use it a lot. Let's look at some examples where we use ik ben to introduce ourselves. We can say, ik ben Chris. So here you see, ik ben, I am, and Chris is my name. Ik ben Chris. So that means I am Chris. So you can use ik ben to say your name to somebody. But not just saying your name, you can do it with many other things as well. Ik ben Nederlands. Ik ben Nederlands. And for the English-speaking people, this might be a little confusing, but we're actually talking about the nationality Dutch. So we say Nederlands. So this sentence, ik ben Nederlands, translates to I am Dutch, which is true, I am really Dutch. And finally, another thing we can talk about using ik ben is ik ben 26 jaar. And if the numbers don't make sense to you yet, don't worry. We're going to get to that later on in the course, but this is just to give you an example of how you can introduce yourself. Ik ben 26 jaar. And that means I am 26 years old. But what is an introduction without a proper greeting? In Dutch, as in most other languages, there are several greetings we can use, some more formal and some more informal. Here we see two Dutch friends running into each other on the street. One might greet the other saying, "Hallo." Hallo is a very common greeting. It simply means hello. The other person responds with hoi. Hoi is probably the most informal greeting we have. It is mainly used for greeting friends and family. It is equivalent to the English hey. The more formal greetings are goedendag, and goedendag means good day. You can use it throughout the day when greeting somebody in Holland. Her friend responds with goedemorgen. Goedemorgen means good morning, and just as in English, you can only use it in the morning. But what do you say when you want to greet somebody during the afternoon? Let's dive a little deeper into that. So, as we learned, goedemorgen means good morning and is of course used in the morning. When you want to greet somebody during the afternoon, you use goedemiddag. Goedemiddag means good afternoon. In the evening, we use the greeting goedenavond. Goedenavond means, you guessed it, good evening. When it's night, the Dutch greet each other with goedenacht. Goedenacht means good night. As you can see, all these greetings are a combination of goede, which means good, and a part of the day. So for the extra attentive students, you can already pick out the parts of the day. Morgen, middag, avond, en nacht. Let's do a quick review to see if you have memorized the greetings for a part of the day. We start in the morning. Do you remember what you say to somebody in the morning? In the morning, we greet each other with goedemorgen. Then it becomes afternoon. Do you remember how to greet somebody in Dutch in the afternoon? In the afternoon, we use goedemiddag. Then the middag has passed and it becomes evening. But how do you greet somebody in Dutch in the evening? By now you're probably aware that we always use goede. So it also starts with goede and ends with avond. Goedenavond. Good evening. Finally, when the nighttime has begun, how do the Dutch greet each other? In the nighttime, we use the greeting goedenacht. So goedenacht means good night. Have you memorized them all? Of course, we're not only going to learn how to greet people, we're also going to learn how to say goodbye. There are many ways of doing this. Let's look at some very common ones. The girl is heading off to school and she says doei to her parents. Doei means bye. Her mother responds with tot ziens. Tot ziens is also a very common way of saying goodbye, and it literally means until I see you again. So equivalent of the English, see you. The father says fijne dag. And fijne dag means have a nice day. Wishing somebody a nice day is a very common thing to do in the Netherlands, and it is appreciated when you do so. Let's do a recap of the information from this class. The topic of this class was introducing yourself in Dutch, or as we say, voorstellen. The first thing we looked at was the question, wie ben je? And wie ben je meant, who are you? Then we introduced ourselves using ik ben, I am. And using my real name, ik ben Chris, we learned how to introduce ourselves. I am Chris. But we didn't only learn how to introduce ourselves using our names. We also learned that you can state your nationality with ik ben. Ik ben Nederlands, which means I am Dutch. But we could also state our age using ik ben. Ik ben 26 jaar. I am 26 years old. We also looked at greetings or begroetingen, as we say in Dutch. And the first ones we learned were hallo, hoi en goedendag. Very common greetings. Hello, hey, and good day. Then we learned some greetings that are specific to a part of the day. Goedemorgen, goedemiddag, goedenavond, and goedenacht. Meaning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And finally, we learned how to say goodbye in Dutch using tot ziens, doei, and fijne dag. And the translations are see you, bye, and have a nice day. Do you have all the information from this class in your head? Because now we're going to practice in Old Dutch. Veel succes! And that means good luck. Now you're going to listen to a conversation in Old Dutch. There are a few words left out. So, first question to you is, do you understand the conversation you're about to listen to? And the second question is, can you fill in the missing words? Veel succes! Goedemiddag. Wie ben je? Goedendag. Ik ben Chris. Ik ben 26 jaar. Ik ben Nederlands. And here's the first missing word. So the question is, ben je? But the first word is missing. What is the word that should be filled in into the blank? The missing word is wie. So the question becomes, wie ben je? Who are you? Wie ben je? Did you get it correctly? Let's see what she answers. Hallo, ik, another blank, Eva. Ik ben 28, another blank. Ik ben Nederlands. So as you can tell, there are two blank spaces in these sentences. The first one comes after the word ik, and the other one comes after the word 28. Which word should be filled in these blank spaces? If you've listened carefully to my response to her question, you should be able to figure this out. Let's start with the first one. Ik, ... Eva. She's introducing herself using her name. And as we've learned, you use ben. So, ik ben Eva. And the second, ik ben 28. That's a number. And she's talking about being a certain number. So, of course, she's talking about her age. The missing word when talking about your age is jaar. So, here are the answers. Hallo, ik ben Eva. Ik ben 28 jaar. Ik ben Nederlands. So as you can see, ben and jaar were the missing words. I hope you could follow the conversation and fill in the missing words. If not, you can play back the video or parts of it and see if you understand it a second time. Now, you're going to listen to me introducing myself in Dutch twice. One version is correct, and one version contains a mistake. So listen carefully and see if you can figure out what the mistake was. Here comes introduction number 1. Tot ziens. Ik ben Chris. Ik ben 26 jaar. Ik ben Nederlands. Doei. And here comes introduction number 2. Goedendag. Ik ben Chris. Ik ben 26 jaar. Ik ben Nederlands. Doei. Were you able to pick out which version was correct and which version contains the mistake? Here are the answers. Description number 1 on the left was wrong, and description number 2 on the right was correct. And maybe you were even able to pick out what the mistake was. So the mistake in description number 1 on the left was that I used tot ziens as a greeting. And you don't start your introduction with it. You can end it with tot ziens, but you don't start it with tot ziens. So that's why introduction number 1 was incorrect and introduction number 2 was correct. What's better than practicing what you've learned in real life? Since this class was all about introducing yourself in Dutch, my suggestion to you is that you find somebody, a colleague, a friend, or a family member, and you introduce yourself to them in Dutch. I'm sure they will be impressed. Have fun with it. Congratulations! You've made it to the end of this Dutch Daily class on introducing yourself in Dutch. Let's see if you've reached all the goals. Our first and most important goal was that you learn how to introduce yourself in Dutch. Can you do that now? Secondly, we've learned some common greetings and ways of saying goodbye. And finally, we learned how to use the first person of the verb zijn. Have you reached all your goals for this class? I want to thank you very much for learning with me today. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you in the next class.